Welcome all to the Stoneforge. Today we will be playing a solo playthrough of Spirit Island. This is a cooperative settler destruction game. If you have not played it before, welcome. And for those of you who are Spirit Island fans alike, thanks for joining us. We will be playing against the Habsburg mining expedition, which is a adversary of great expansion from Habsburg. And we will be playing against difficulty 7, which is level 4. They get to do many different things here, and I'll just do a quick explanation about Habsburg. Habsburg is a adversary that thrives off of having invaders in 3 or more lands. And this is problematic for control spirits, but can be greatly beneficial to damage dealing spirits. And today we'll be playing Dances Up Earthquakes against this adversary and see how well we do. So starting here with the initial explore, we will be coming into, let's see, the mountains. So they will get their initial explore into the mountains. Here's our little explorers here, coming into land number 5 and land number 8. Alright, and now we will be strategizing what we will be doing here for our first turn. Dances Up Earthquake starts with 6 unique power cards. It has quite a few range variety of energy and quite a few elements on their cards. Dances Up Earthquake works by sending things into a zone called impending, which I'll explain as the game progresses further. If you haven't played Dances Up Earthquakes before, a really fun spirit. And we'll just get started here, right here, with our growth option. We'll be going ahead and choosing the second growth option here to gain a power card and to add a presence at range 1. And we'll be starting by working our bottom track here, enabling us to gather 1 Dahan into each of our lands, one of our lands, every turn. So we want to expand where buildings are. This is where Earthquake thrives. Earthquake can deal damage to buildings, but struggles dealing damage to explorers. They're going to be building in the mountains here, and so we are going to want to go where they are building. This area, land number 8 here, might be a little problematic. They're going to be building a town, have a total of 4 damage there. In land number 5, they're going to have a total of 3 damage there. I think what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and use Inspire Winding Dance, which is a 0-cost slow power card, to be able to push out the invaders that they are going to build in land number 5, so we'll neutralize the threat there. So we're going to go ahead and expand into land number 5 with our presence there. And then we're going to go ahead and gather 1 Dahan into one of our lands if we would so choose so, and we'll gain 1 energy as well. And this is the one we're going to go ahead and pop into play, Inspire Winding Dance, and then for the future we're going to go ahead and send Resounding Footfalls, Sow Dismay into Impending. And so the way Impending works is you'll go ahead and place a card similar to playing another power card, but instead of putting it into play, you'll put it into what's called the Impending Zone, which I'm going to go ahead and put over here. You can put any amount of energy that you'd like onto the card, and the way it works is every turn Earthquake will generate energy to all of his impending cards, and when there's enough energy to pay for the card, it will immediately come into play and won't count against your card plays. And with this, you can get huge sweeping hands of 7 or even 8 cards if you time it right with your impending cards. So I'm going to go ahead and just put that into impending with 0 energy on that, setting up for a bigger play later during the game, and put my Inspire a Winding Dance into play, and this is going to come into effect this round. We're going to go ahead and gain our power card. We're going to gain a minor power card from 4 here. Let's see what we have. We've got Drought, we've got Dark and Tangled Woods, Call to Trade, and Enticing Splendor. In general, I'm an innate player. I love to trigger my innates often, so I don't even consider cards that do not have my elements in general. So Enticing Splendor, I'm probably going to knock off because it doesn't have any of my elements there. We've got Call to Trade, which has got a mountain on it. We've got Dark and Tangled Woods, which is a mountain and moon. And we've got Drought, which is a mountain and a sun. I absolutely hate Drought because I don't like adding Blight to the board. It can be a great card and can be utilized really well, but I'm not going to go ahead and choose that one this game. We're going to go ahead and do Dark and Tangled Woods because it has a moon and a mountain on there and can give us some great defense in mountains and jungles. So we'll go ahead and throw these 3 minor powers away here and grab our Dark and Tangled Woods into our hand. Okay, so we've successfully done our growth phase. Moving into presence phase, we'll go ahead and gain our energy per turn, which is 1, and then put our cards into play, which Inspiring a Winding Dance, and put this into Impending, Resounding Footfalls, Sow Dismay. Okay, And I also have the chance here, if I want to gather 1 Dahan into one of my lands. Right now, since we're going to be vacating land number 5, I don't think it's super beneficial to pop a Dahan in there. So let's see, because we could pop a Dahan into land number 7 for future defense. I think we might do that. So we'll go ahead and grab this Dahan here from land number 1 and pop it into our sands in land number 7, so we just have more Dahan in there. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and I use these little tokens here to signify which innates I've reached my second innate here on land creeks with tension, and I haven't done anything on Earth Shatters Building Falls, which will come into play later. Now we're going to go ahead and move to Invader Phase. Invader Phase, they're going to go ahead and build in the mountains. So we're going to be popping a town into land number 8 and a town into land number 5. And then moving to exploring, they'll be exploring into the jungles. So we'll go ahead and pop some explorers here. Oh, forgive me, I have skipped a step here. So they have an after build effect with this high difficulty at difficulty 7, level 4. And this is the level 3, the mining boom effect, and it's after the build step. On each board we'll choose a land with an explorer and upgrade that 1 explorer there. So I think what we're gonna do is we'll choose, let's see, we'll choose the probably the sands here. We'll go ahead and choose the sands and upgrade that the explorer into a town there. And now we'll go ahead and move to explore. So they'll be exploring into jungles. Exploring into jungles, we'll pop an explorer there, and pop an explorer there. And we'll go ahead and move these forward here. Alright, so right off the bat, we're going to go ahead and use Inspire Winding Dance during slow phase, and use that to push up to 1 explorer or town and gather up to 1 Dahan. We'll leave the Dahan count there, and we'll go ahead and push this into our trouble land over here. We can take care of it later. And that will go to Times Passes, which we will go ahead and discard our cards. I'm going to make my discard pile right here. And then back to growth phase. So we've made it to our second growth phase here. Let's see. I also get to add an earthquake token here. Sorry, my brain is moving really fast. I can add an earthquake token to one of my lands, so I'll add an earthquake token here. Earthquake tokens just represent creaking tension and like building power with Dances Up Earthquakes. He uses these to deal damage with Earth Shatters and Buildings Fall. Okay, so we will go ahead and move to the next growth phase here. So looking at problems here, they'll be ravaging in land number 5. That'll be okay because this guy will only deal 1 damage and the Dahan will kill him. And they'll also be ravaging in land number 8 here, which we don't currently have taken care of. That's 4 damage there that they'll be popping down. I might just let that blight. Let me see. We can use Dark and Tangled Woods and defend that. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll plan to use Dark and Tangled Woods to defend that. And we're gonna go ahead and use our second growth option again. Such a great growth option. It allows us to expand and gain power cards, which is super useful for Dances Up Earthquakes, because he loves to have many power cards and many options. So we'll go ahead and expand into, they'll be building into jungles. Okay, and this will stop the build in this jungle here. And this jungle here. Okay, I think we'll expand into this jungle. So we'll go ahead and expand into that jungle there. And we can go ahead and gain our power card. We're going to go ahead and gain a minor power card again. So let's see, we have Flesh Rot Fever, Encompassing Ward, Portents of Disaster, and Confounding Mist. Not a super great choices here for Dances Up Earthquake. I think I'm going to go ahead and just grab Encompassing Ward because it can be good in a pinch to defend if we need. And we'll go ahead and pop these guys in discard pile. And we are going to now, let's see. You know, I'm gonna lay out my guys here. And move my impending zone up a little bit. There we go. You guys can see the cards that I currently have in my hand. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and play a Dark and Tangled Woods. We can move a presence, and we can also gather one Dahan to one of my lands. I'm going to go ahead and gather one Dahan into here, because we're going to plan to defend this. And then we can move a presence. I'm going to go ahead and just pop this presence out of here and put it into the sand here. I don't really want to come into this jungle, just in case I can't defend it next turn. Okay, so we've go ahead and we've done that. We'll gain our energy per turn. So we'll gain 1 energy. And we also will gain 1 energy to each impending card that is currently impending. We only have 1 that's impending, so we'll gain that. And then we'll go to playing cards. We'll play Dark and Tangled Woods. And we'll use that to go ahead and defend land number 8 here for 3, which will be enough to stop that. And then we will go ahead and send Gift of Seismic Energy into impending as well. So we now have 2 cards in our impending zone here. Okay, elements give us enough to trigger our second tier here of Land Creep with Tension, allowing us to play 1 more Earthquake token and defend in one of my lands, 1 per impending card that we have. So we have 2 impending cards, so we can defend for 2 if we'd like to in one of our lands. And then I think we'll be ready to move to Fast Phase here momentarily. Yep. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move to Fast Phase and trigger our Dark and Tangled Woods. That'll generate 2 fear for us, first 2 fear of the game. And then we will go ahead and put the Defend 3 into the mountain, 1 away from our presence there. Then we'll go ahead and move to Invader Phase, in which they will ravage in the mountains. So ravaging in land number 5, they'll damage the Han for 1, and the Explorer will die. And then ravaging here, they'll ravage for 4. I have a defend for 3, so 1 damage will come through to the Dahan, and then the Dahan will kill the town by doing 2 damage for retaliation, generating 1 more fear. Okay, moving to their build step, they will be building in jungles. So building in jungles here, they'll build a town, and building here, the disease will stop the build effect. And then they will get their after build effect and replace an explorer with the town. Since mountains just ravage, they're not super problematic, so I'm going to go ahead and pop a town where that explorer was in land number 8. Okay, moving to their explorer, they'll be exploring into wetlands. So we'll just go ahead and pop 2 explorers in there, land number 1 and land number 3. And move these forward, discard the mountains. We've got our ravage in our jungles next turn and are building our wetlands. And we do have a beast command that is available to us because we are playing without events. So if we need to use that, we can. Okay, so moving to slow phase. Once again, I forgot to play my earthquake token, so we'll go ahead and just pop that into land number 2. And we will move this to our discard pile, and that will be the end of slow phase. Moving back to growth phase, third growth phase here. And thinking of what we can do here, we have 1 energy available to us. We'll be making 1 energy during the presence phase. We need to heal these to Han during times passes. Let's see. So they'll be ravaging in jungles this turn. We have a ravage going on here in land number 2, and we have 1 going on here as well. With my Land Creek's intention, I'll be able to defend 1 per impending card. I'm planning to send 1 more impending card up there, so I could defend for 3, potentially in this land right here, which is beneficial. This land, I might just let it blight. So we're going to go ahead and choose our second growth option again. And that will go ahead and allow us to play another presence. And we're going to go ahead and expand our bottom track here. So we can get some more elements. We'll get a moon and a flame, or a fire. And we can expand this up to range 1 away from current presence on the board. So we'll pop this into the wetlands because they'll be building in one of the wetlands. So we'll go ahead and put them in here into this wetland. And we'll gain a power card. And as you can see, Dances Up Earthquake is really, really good at gaining power cards. I've got a power card every turn. That gives you many options to play him differently. I'm going to go ahead and grab Unquenchable Flames. That one just has a lot of elements on it that match my elements, so we'll grab that one. It's a good one to grab. And then we're going to go ahead and use Exaltation of Echoed Steppes, so we can go ahead and push one of our presence out of this land, bringing with it a town, a Dahan, explorer, or a beast. So that'll just allow us to vacate that land and make it less of a threat when it comes around to ravaging there. They will be, no, they won't be ravaged. They'll just be building in both of these wetlands here. So I think we've got that, and we'll be sending Radiating Tremors up to the impending zone here. So first we'll go ahead and gain our energy return and put 1 energy on each of our impending cards. So now we've got 2 energy on this impending card here, and then 1 on our Gift of Seismic Energy. So these are almost ready to trigger here, and we'll go ahead and send our Radiating Tremors up to our impending zone as well. Okay, and let's go ahead and pay for Exaltation of Echoed Steppes. And then we have the availability, if we'd like to move a presence or to gather one Dahan to one of my lands. We'll go ahead and gather the Dahan here from this wetland into here, so we can take care of the city during Ravage. And then we will go ahead and let's see where we'd like to move a presence. We can move. We're gonna move this presence out of this land and into the mountains, so we can set up some earthquake tokens there. So we'll go ahead and do that. And we will go ahead and get our earthquake token, which we'll be placing during fast phase if we don't forget. And we also have a defend for at least 1 per. We can defend 1 per impending card that we have in one of our lands. We have 3 impending cards, so we can defend for 3 in here, which is going to be enough to stop them from ravaging. So we'll go ahead and just put that defend token there to remind us. And I think we're good to move to fast phase. So moving to fast phase here, we will just go ahead and play our earthquake token. We'll just pop this down over here, setting up for later. And then we'll go ahead and move to the invader step. During their invader phase, they're going to be ravaging in the jungles. We're just letting this land blight, so 1 blight off of our healthy island. And then this one here, they'll be ravaging for 4. I'll be defending for 3. So 1 Dahan will take a damage, and 2 Dahan will retaliate back and deal 4, destroying the city and the explorer. That gives us another fear, and we now have our first fear card. Okie days. So moving to the build phase, they'll be building in wetlands. So we're going to be popping 2 towns in here, town here, town here. And then they have the after build effect and replace an explorer with a town. I'm going to go ahead and just put this into the mountain, as this seems to be a pretty safe place. And moving to the exploring. This is their first stage 2 card, so they will be getting their escalation effect. The escalation effect is mining tunnels. After advancing the invader cards on each board, we will be exploring into 2 lands whose terrains do not match a ravage or a build card, and no source is required. It's really nasty. So they'll go ahead and explore into the jungles here. Pop some explorers in there. And then we'll move this forward and perform their escalation effect, which will allow them to put 2 explorers into lands that are not jungles or wetlands. So we're going to go ahead and just shoot them into the sands over here. They're kind of populated anyway. So, alright, that'll be good. It looks like we have the salt mining card up next, which is their specialty. It's a very, very dangerous card. Okay, moving to slow phase here, we can push 1 presence, bringing up with it up to 1 explorer, town, Dahan, or beast. So I'm going to go ahead and push this presence, and we're just going to pop it into here so we can just set up this land and bring this guy with him. Alright, so we got a whole cluster of towns and cities and invaders in there. Move to times passes and remove So reminder token, heal that one to Han, and we'll go ahead and discard our cards that are in play. And move to growth phase again. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and choose the third option here, I think, because we're going to go ahead and see if we can get an earthquake to pop off this turn. They'll be ravaging in 2 wetlands here, and we might, let's see, yeah, we can take care of both these wetlands here, because this one doesn't, land number 1 doesn't need defending, and land number 3 does. However, I can just use my resounding footfalls so dismay to go ahead and stop that. Okay, so yeah, I think that's what we'll do. So we're gonna go ahead and actually choose our third option here, and this turn manipulate the amount of energy that we can gain on impending cards, and then add a presence up to range 3. So we'll go ahead and grab the bottom track here. We'll gain our 1 energy per turn, and we'll pop this guy into lane number 1. And then we'll go ahead and gain our energy, so our 1 energy per turn, and then our 1 energy per impending card. I'm going to go ahead and +1 the amount of energy for 2 of the impending cards via the growth option here. So we'll have 1 energy to get 3 there, and then 2 energy on that one to get 3, and then 2 more energy here to get to the 2 that we need for Radiating Tremor. So these guys will come into play. I also get to reclaim 1 power card. So we'll go ahead and reclaim the Inspiring and Winding Dance, which is going to be useful for us in the near future. Then we can move a presence, so we'll go ahead and move the presence in, let's see, they'll be building in jungles this turn. However, they will be ravaging in this jungle specifically because there are 3 or more invaders in here, which makes it a mining land. Okay, so thinking about how to block that ravage. So we don't want to necessarily pop into there. We might just skip that ravage and let this blight. Or I can send 2 into play and 1 impending card. Or maybe I just send all 3 into impending. I'll send all 3 into impending and defend this. Okay. Might just do that. Okay, so we will be thinking about that. I think I'm just going to send 3 cards into impending and do a smaller earthquake here into one of the major lands. So if I do a major earthquake, I get some really good stuff, but then I'll be blighting some of the lands here, which I would rather not be doing, because I'll be doing 4 damage here and then 5 damage in this land here, and then I'll have a way to skip one of the ravages, and then I'll need to be able to defend 3 in this land to not let it blight. Okay, so moving one of my presents, I think we'll want to, instead of expanding into this land, I think we'll expand into this land and then move this presence out into this land here. Okay, I think that'll work there. So we're gonna go ahead and figure out which cards we want to send into impending here. I think we'll send Inspire Winding Dance into impending. We'll send Unquenchable Flames into impending, and then we'll go ahead and send, because it'll be ravaging in jungles next. I guess we could send Encompassing Ward into impending. Rolling Importance, Quake. No, we're gonna go ahead and send rumblings portent a greater quake into impending as well. So we'll be putting all 3 of these into impending. These 3 will be coming out of impending. So, and then we'll also be able to gather a Dahan into one of our lands. So we'll gather this Dahan into here so we can take care of that town during Ravage. Okay, so go ahead and put these 2 energy. Actually, we'll just leave them because we'll just send them into impending. Put these 3 into play. Pop these 3 into impending. Okay, and now these guys will come into play. We have Radiating Tremors this turn, and we have Seismic Gift of Energy, and then we have our Resounding Footfalls, Sow Dismay. Okay, we have a good amount of power cards in play this turn, so we can do some really neat things here. So we will go ahead and be looking at what innates will be triggering this turn. We will be triggering the first tier of Earth Shatters and Buildings Fall. We have 3 power cards in play, as well as 3 stone elements and 3 fire elements, which is enough to trigger the first one, to be doing 2 damage per Earthquake token, 2 buildings only in a land where I have presence. So we're probably going to be doing it in land number 7 here. And then we have the Resounding Footfalls, Sow Dismay, which will probably be skipping the Ravage actions here. And then we also have 3 cards that are currently in impending, and enough elements, I believe, let's see, 1 moon and 2 mountains. Yeah, so we have enough to trigger the 3rd tier of this here, which is going to give us 2 Earthquake tokens somewhere. And then we can also defend 1 per impending thing, so 3 in total. And we'll probably pop in that 3 defense right here so we can stop the Ravage from happening. Okay, so we'll go ahead and move on to fast phase here. We'll go ahead and add 1 Earthquake token, skip all Ravage actions here, and then we will be generating 1 fear as well. So there's 1 fear. And then we will go ahead and use our Gift of Seismic Energy. It says I can target myself. If I do, gain 3 energy, otherwise target spirit gains 1 energy. So I'm going to go ahead and gain 3 energy here. It's going to be good for storing up some stuff in the future. And then we have Radiating Tremors, which is slow, so that will resolve during the slow phase. Okay, and then these also can be placed during the fast phase. We're going to just pop them in land number 7 so we can just do a really big Earthquake here. Land number 7's getting really populated there. And then that'll be our fast phase. Moving to fear phase, and our first fear card, we have Communities in Disarray, resolving at Terra level 1. So cities each deal -1 damage during the Ravage. Invaders do not heal damage at the end of this turn. Ooh, that could be useful. Okay, so I'll pop this over here to remember during Ravage that they will do less damage. And moving to Ravage, so we Ravaging here, 1 damage, not doing anything. Ravaging here, 4 damage. However, I have it defended for 3, so only 1 damage to the Dahan, and the Dahan will retaliate back and kill that town, which will give us 1 fear. And then moving to the build phase, they will be building in jungles. We'll go ahead and build in this jungle here for them. And then instead of building here, because they have 3 or more invaders, they will be Ravaging. However, I have skip all Ravage actions, so they will not be Ravaging there. Then after build effect, we'll go ahead and replace an Explorer with a town somewhere. They just did jungles, so jungles seems like a pretty safe place to go ahead and just set up some more towns. So we'll put a town here and replace that Explorer. And then moving to exploring, so they will go and explore with their Salt Deposits card. They have explore and build spaces in non-mining lands. So they will be exploring to every non-mining land, which is any land that has 3 or less invaders in it. So we'll go ahead and explore to this land here, this land, this land, this land. Actually, I think that just might be not every land, but it's almost every land on the board here that they will be exploring to. Quite a few. Alright, and then we will go ahead and move that forward. They do not get their escalation effect, so. Okay. So we'll go ahead and move to the slow phase. So we have Radiating Tremors, where it can do 2 damage and then push any number of earthquake tokens, dividing them as evenly as possible among adjacent lands. And then I also have my earth shudders, buildings fall, resolving at tier 1. So I'll go ahead and trigger that first. Target land will be land number 7. I do 2 damage per token, 2 buildings. So we'll just do 6 damage there. So we'll go ahead and just destroy. I think we might want to do 3, 6, and then kill a town, leave a town left. Yeah, I think I'll do that. So I'll go ahead and destroy the city for 3, destroy a town for 2, and then my last damage that I can only do 2 buildings. Yeah, we'll wound one of the towns there. So that's going to go ahead and generate us. How much fear is that? 2 fear for the city, giving us another fear card, and 1 more fear for the town. Okay, and then we have the 2 damage with radiating tremors we can use, and we'll go ahead and just do 1 damage to that town and 1 damage to the explorer there, getting us 1 more fear. And then we can push these tokens out to places that we think might be useful. So let's go ahead and push just there, get that into the mountain, and then we'll get this other earthquake token into the, let's say the other mountain probably is where they're going to be building, because they'll be building in any non-mining land. Or maybe we'll just pop it into the wetland. The wetland might be the play. So we'll get it into the wetland. Okay, so we push that out there. We can remove this token. We don't need this right now. And we have done our earthquake. So I think we've done everything we need to do for slow phase. We do, yeah. Okay, so that's good. And I think that's gonna wrap up slow phase, yeah. So let's go ahead and get rid of the energy and discard our cards. And heal the Dahan during time passes. And remove our defend token and our other token here. Oh boy, this board is looking quite like something else here. Okay, so this turn we might be reclaiming because we have a lot of cards in our discard pile. Moving to growth phase again and thinking about all the problem lands. They'll be ravaging in jungles. So land number 6 that we're ravaging here, that we're ravaging also in land number 2. And then during build, they'll be building in any land that's not a non-mining land. No, that is a non-mining land, so any land that has less than 3 invaders. So they'll be building in land number 5, land number 1, and land number 7. Okay, so 3 builds this turn, which I don't think is super problematic. So let's see. Yeah. Okay, we should be fine with that. And then the ravage here, we might just want to skip that because they have 6 damage landing there, which is quite a bit, and I don't think I can defend that 6 damage because this turn all 3 of these cards will be coming into play. Okay. So I think we'll be expanding off of our top track. We will be reclaiming our cards. I can add a presence or gain a major power without forgetting. Maybe gaining a major power might be the play here to get us out of this bind. Well, at least we'll go ahead and reclaim. So reclaim our cards here. Encompassing Award might be useful because we could pop a defend 2 wherever we have presence. So defend 2, which would reduce the needed defense to be defend 4 there. So where things get dicey. I feel like if we reclaim, we let these 3 come into play, and then we send 2 back into impending. We can defend for 2 in one of the lands. Actually, we could choose that same land twice, and then defend for 4 in one of those lands. So we could defend 4 here, and then if I use Resounding Footfalls, Sow Dismay, we could just skip the ravage action here, which would just be fine. And then the builds will just happen, and we'll work with those as we do. Okay, so I think that's the plan there. So we'll go ahead and we can move a presence to a land. We'll probably want to move to where they will be building so we can set up some more impending tokens. Yeah. Okay, so we'll move into here. We'll gather a Dahan into here, so we can just take care of everyone who's in there when they ravage. Okay. And then we will go ahead and be playing our Resounding Footfalls, Sow Dismay, and then we have a one more card play and one card that has to go to Impending, so we'll just send 2 cards into Impending. We'll send Gift of Seismic Energy and Radiating Tremors. So those guys will go into Impending. We'll go ahead and gain our energy per turn. We haven't decided if we wanted to gain a major. Yeah, we'll hold off on the major. We'll instead just play a presence on the board. And we'll pop this guy into this land. Okay, yeah, that'll work. So do we need a Sacred Site for one of these? Oh, we do. Actually, in that case, we might want to make this into a Sacred Site. We'll pop it into the middle so we have range on all of the places we need. Okay, that'll work. So we'll gain our 2 energy, and we'll use 3 of the energy here that we have to cast this card, and then we'll put the other 2 into Impending. Our 3 other ones will come out of Impending because they'll all gain 1 energy. The 0 energy will basically just trigger because you don't need any energy for that one. So we have 4 power cards in play this turn, which will allow us to still only do our first tier of our Earthquake here, which is fine. So we'll go ahead and remind ourselves we'll get a first tier of Earthquake. We have quite a few elements out in play. I believe we have, let's see, 3 moons, 4 mountains. So we have enough to do our max innate for Lamb's Creek with Tension, being able to add 2 of these here and also defend per thing here, so 2 and then in one of our lands. So we'll pop the defend 2 here, and then we'll also pop the other defend 2, so defend 4 in that land. And we do have enough to trigger Unquenchable Flames in Threshold there, so we'll be able to play a bad land during slow phase. Okay, yeah, we have a lot going for us this turn. Okay, so let's go ahead and move to fast phase. So during fast phase, we'll have Rumblings Portent a Greater Earthquake. If I have at least as many impending as many impending as power cards in play, then 1 fear and add 1, which I don't believe I do as of this thing, because there's 2 impending and there's 4 in play, so that's not going to trigger. But then I will be able to push up to 3. See, at least as many impending as power cards in play. Okay, yeah. So then I could push up to 3 to Han from somewhere. Where do we want to push to Han? They'll be ravaging mining lands next, which will be like basically every land on the board, which is going to be amazing. So maybe I'll just target this land here and push them into here so we can defend this land. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and use Resounding Footfalls, Sow Dismay, generate 1 fear from that, and skip all Ravage actions here, as well as add another Earthquake token. So we'll be skipping all Ravage actions in this land. Okay, and then we should be done with fast phase. No, we have the land creeks with tension, so we can add a couple of these. So we'll add 1 here to this land here, and I would like to add 1 here, but I can't. So I'll add it, I guess, just to this other wetland. Oh, actually, no, I can add it to this land. That'll work. Okay. So we've done all our fast phase abilities, I believe. Yep. So moving to fear phase. We have our second fear card, Struggles Over Farmland. Resolving at terror level 1. Each player may add a strife to a land with blight. Okay, this might be useful. So adding a strife to a land with blight. Next turn, they'll be ravaging and mining lands, which will be... Okay, so this actually is really not super useful. Because I can strife up one of the guys here for future reference, I guess. But I'll be skipping their actions there anyway. Okay. Alright. So moving to our invaders. We've got our Habsburg mining expedition coming at us again. So they'll be ravaging in jungles. They're ravaging for 4 here. I'm defending for 4. So the Dahan will just kill them here. Lovely, lovely Dahan. Generate another fear to get us another fear card. 3rd fear card generated this game. Moving over to the build, they will be building in all non-mining lands. So any land that doesn't have 3 or more invaders, they will be building in. So they'll be building in land number 7 here. The disease will stop that. They won't be building there. They will be building in land number 1, land number 5. They would be building land number 2, however, there are no invaders there. And that is all the builds that are commencing here. So that's great. And then moving to explore. They will be exploring into the wetlands. They really like them wetlands. Okay, let's go ahead and advance this forward. And get their escalation effect and their after build effect as well. So the after build effect will be town replacing the explorer and any one of the lands with explorer. So I'll just go ahead and just replace that into sand here. And they now will have their escalation effect. Escalation effect will allow them to explore into 2 lands that are not a non-mining land, or actually ravage space mining land. So exploring into a land that's not a mining land and not a wetland. So I'll go into this jungle, and then we can also go into, actually we'll just go into this mountain and this, no, because we'll have to take care of that during ravage. We'll just put it into the sands, and then I guess we might as well just put it in the other sands because it's already going to be a mining land. Okay, so that'll work. Okay, moving to slow phase, and we have a couple things to do here and to think about our impacts. So first of all, we have our earthquake, shutter, buildings fall. So we can do 2 damage per token in a land and do our earthquake. There's not a lot of places that are super useful to do that. Maybe we should move presence. We don't have a way to move presence right now. That stinks. I should have played Exaltation of Echoed Steps. Okay, well, stakes are made, so. Okay, there's a lot to think about. So they'll be ravaging here in quite a few lands, ravaging in land number 3, land number 4. They'll be ravaging in land number 6. They'll also be ravaging in land number 8 up there. And then land number 1 as well. Okay, so we need to kind of stop some of these ravages from happening. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll use Inspiring a Winding Dance to push up to 1 explorer or town out of here, so that way they won't be ravaging in this land. Instead, they'll just build, which is fine. We'll pop it in here because these guys are screwed anyway. And then we will go ahead and use Unquenchable Flames. We can do 1 damage to a building. Invaders do not heal damage at the end of the turn, and add a bad land and 1 fear. So let's go ahead and just generate that 1 fear real quick. Add a bad land, and then we do 1 damage to a building. Where would they be building next turn? In wetlands. Okay, that's going to turn into a ravage in that wetland, which is going to be nice. Wait, did I push? I pushed an explorer and a town from this land. Okay, I am only supposed to push 1, so they'll ravage there anyway. Maybe I don't push from there. Problems. How about this? I'll push the town from land number 5 into here. Actually, no, from land number 1. And then I could gather Dahan in there as well. I think it'll be fine. And then we'll go ahead and do our earthquake there to kill this building. Okay, that sounds pretty good. And generate a fear. Okay. And then we can now do 1 damage and then add a bad land. You know what? Instead, we'll push 1 here. We'll gather No, we don't need to gather Dahan there, do we? No, we won't gather Dahan. So we'll push the town there. We'll use Unquenchable Flames to generate the 1 fear, which we did, and then the 1 damage to a building, and then pop down the Badland. Then we'll use our Earthquake to do 2 damage plus 1 with the Badland to get rid of both of these buildings here and generate 2 fear. That's what we're going to do. Okay. So get us another fear card, get us to Terror level 2. We are rolling here. Well, Island is not blighted yet, so we're doing alright. And then, yeah, so we've used Inspire Winding Dance, we've used Unquenchable Flame, and damage does not heal at the end of the turn. Doesn't really matter because there's no one there that's slightly wounded. Okay, and we've used all of our abilities. Alright, so moving to our next growth phase here and solving our next problems. We're going to have them being ravaged in every place that's a mining land. So any place with 3 or more invaders, which is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lands on this board. And then they'll be building in every land that is not a mining land. So, or actually no, they'll only just be building wetlands. So only these 2. And those builds will just turn into ravages because those are mining lands. So we're getting double ravage in both of our wetlands, which is problematic, and then also getting 3 other ravages. So this is going to be a really, really rough turn. And trying to figure out what we're going to do here is going to be a lot. Okay, so let's just start off with the simple things of which growth option we're going to choose and how we're going to go ahead and solve these problems here. We have 2 cards in impending. I don't think those are going to super help us right now as far as that. If we can figure out with our 2 card plays how to get, let's see, how to get the double defense here. We can have 2 defend 3s basically because we'll send 1 card to impending. So our 2 defend 3s, we could pop like 1 here and 1 here, which would take care of both of those. Would be amazing. And then we would just have to defend 1, 2, 3 more lands. So we do have a defend Dark and Tangled Woods, so that could take care of 1 in the mountains. And then we have 2 more lands to take care of, so Resounding Footfalls, we could skip a Ravage, and then we could just take a Blight in the last one, is what I'm thinking. That might just be the play. So in that case, we're going to go ahead and Reclaim. We're going to add a Presence from the bottom track so we can get that 3rd Earth that we need to get this and pull this off. And then we're going to need to be inside of here to stop that Ravage from happening. And then we're also going to need to be inside of here, so we'll just go ahead and move this Presence using our Presence track option to do that. And then we can also gather Dahan into one of our lands. So let's see, because they're going to double Ravage in both of the wetlands. I think we're fine. We have enough Dahan there. We're going to want to probably gather a Dahan into the mountains so we can just take care of them when they Ravage. So I think that's just a play there. And then we'll just take a Blight in the sand. Okay, sounds good. So let's go ahead and plan that out. We've reclaimed. We have 7 cards now available to us. We have 2 card plays plus an additional impending thing. So let's go ahead and gain our energy and then 1 energy to each impending card that we have in play. So there we go. We've chosen our first growth option. And then we will now go ahead and figure out this stuff. So we're going to play Dark and Tangled Woods, and we'll play Resounding Footfalls, So Dismay. Okay, that'll work. And then that'll be 1 energy for that, and then 3 energy for the Resounding Footfalls, Sound Dismay. Okay, so we have those 2 cards, and then a 3rd card to send towards impending. What do we want to send towards impending? I feel like we're gonna go. We want to send Unquenchable Flames to impending, so we'll go ahead and send that to impending. So that'll be our 3rd card, which is into impending. So we'll send that guy into impending, and now we will figure out this stuff here. So we're gonna go ahead and use the Dark and Tangled Woods. We're gonna try to defend that. We have currently 3 mountains, 2 moons, and 2 flames. So we don't have enough to do Earth Shatter, Building Fall, because we need 3 cards in play to do that. But we do have enough to do the max innate for Land Creeks with Tension, so we can get 2 more of these guys onto the board, and we can also get 2 defend 3s into lands that already have presence. So that's going to be crucial because we're going to go ahead and get the defend 3 into this land, which will be enough to stop that, and then our other defend 3 we're going to go ahead and get into this land here. So that's going to be great, and then we're just going to skip their ability there using the other one. So we've taken care of all of those lands there. Okay, sounds good. So let's go ahead and roll into fast phase. We're going to generate 2 fear during fast phase using this here, defend that for 3, and then 1 more fear, and we can add 1 of the earthquake tokens using that to right here, and then skip all their actions here. Okay, so that's good. And then we can add 2 more earthquake tokens, so let's go ahead and add 1 to this land with this presence, and then where else do we want to pop 1? Might as well just put 1 more in there. I mean, they're going to be building there anyway, so okay, so we'll put another earthquake token into land number 5. Alright, sweet. So we've done all of our fast phase abilities, which is basically all we played this turn. And then we're going to go ahead and let that roll to invader phase. So first we got our fear cards. So let's flip these guys over. We have Trade Suffers, resolving at terror level 2. Each player may replace 1 town with an explorer in a coastal land. Okay, there are no towns in coastal lands, so that's not actually going to do anything for us. Then we have Immigration Slows. Skip the next normal build. The build card remains in place instead of shifting left. This might be problematic because they're going to now have a double build next turn. Let's see, because skip the next normal build, the build card remains in place. Yeah, okay, that's going to be nice. Alright, well, that's going to be what it is. So let's go ahead and move to their turn. They're going to ravage in all lands that are mining lands. So we'll go ahead and ravage there for them. I have it defended, so these guys are just going to die because the Dahan will retaliate back. We'll go over to this one. I have it defended as well, I believe. Or actually, maybe not, because I only have that for a defend 3 and they have 5 in there. So that's going to blight and kill some people. Okay, so that was an oversight on my behalf, but it is what it is. So they're going to go ahead and add a blight there, kill a Dahan, and kill my presence, which is just glorious. And then they are going to go ahead and the Dahan will remain and retaliate back to kill that other town. We'll get a fear, get another fear card, and then we will go ahead and move to the next ravage, which is this one. It's skipped. The ravage here, they're going to add a blight. The healthy island will now become blighted. So let's see what we have. Blighted island. Attenuated essence. Each invader phase, each spirit with at least 5 presence on the island destroys 1 presence. 4 blight per player. Okay, so we now have 4 blight remaining. This is not looking good. That oversight may have cost us the game here, but we will see. Don't give up until you can't keep fighting. Okay, we have the ravage here. We'll kill 2 of those explorers. Now they move to build phase. However, they're going to skip that build, and then we have after build effect, because even though we're skipping the action, the after build will still happen. So we'll replace an explorer with a town. We're going to want to do that in let's see, because the build is going to remain there, so we don't want to put it into a wetland, preferably. Maybe we'll pop it into this jungle. This jungle is already problematic. Okay, so we'll just pop a town into there. Okay, and then moving to the explorer. So they'll be exploring into mountains, and they'll get their escalation effect. So exploring into mountains, we'll just pop a guy into here, pop a guy into here. And their escalation effect, this will remain. This will go forward. And their escalation effect will go ahead and now affect every land. Oh, two lands, and it can't be a mining land or a mountain or a wetland. So we can only expand to jungles or sands that aren't mining lands, which is only really just 2 areas. So that guy and this guy right here. Okay. And we have another beast command available to us. We haven't used it yet, but this next phase we might be using these beast command here. Okay. So these stay in place, and we'll just go ahead and put the immigration slows into the discard pile. Then move into slow phase. In slow phase, we don't have anything running into effect here. So we'll just discard our cards and move to the next growth phase here. Okay, so moving to the next growth phase. What is going to be our game plan? They'll be ravaging in all mining lands, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 mining lands. Great, it's just getting worse. Just getting worse. I might just reclaim, to be honest, to get the Dark and Tangled Woods back. And then that will take care of one of the mountains. And then I could also skip one more the Ravage actions. Okay, so that would take care of 2. And then we're going to need to do... Yeah, we're going to do that. So we're going to go ahead and reclaim. Add a presence at range 2. We're going to want to go ahead and add that presence here. And then move this presence here using our move presence. And then gathering a presence into... No, gather a Dahan into here. Actually, we'll gather it from the jungle. There's already 2 Dahan in there. So we'll gather it from the jungle. And we have 2 energy this turn, plus our energy we have stored up. So 2 energy, 1 energy to each impending card, which is going to shoot 1 impending card into play for us, which can be useful. So that, and this guy is going to come into play. And let's get our 2 energy, and then we have our 3 card plays plus 1 card play that goes into impending. So these are going to be 2 of the cards we play. And then we have 1 more card play and then 1 into impending. So let's go ahead and put let's see. Yeah, we're running low on energy. So we'll send Exaltation, Echoed Steps into impending, and then we could also send 1 more into impending, or we could just put it into play. And I feel like I'm just gonna put it into play. Yeah, just put the 0 cost into play. Okay, I think that might just do it. So we have the skip Ravage actions, which I think we're just gonna pop. Here, I think we're gonna skip the Ravage actions here. We have a defend in one of the mountains for 3, so we'll defend in this mountain for 3 using the Dark and Tangled Woods, and then we have enough elements to trigger both of our things, so we can defend for 3 and 2 more lands. So we'll defend for 3 in this land, and then we'll also defend for 3 in this land, which isn't gonna be enough. How great. Okay. How nice, how nice. And then we can just hope we get something with the fear card, maybe. Okay, so that's just gonna be the play there. So we'll defend for 3 and see what happens there. Okay, and we're gonna add more Earthquake tokens, which is glorious. And we have 4 cards in play. Once again, not enough to get the second Earthquake here, which is pitiful. But it is what it is. So we have enough to get the first tier of the Earthquake, though. And we do have enough to get that threshold for Unquenchable Flames. Okay. So I think we're just going to go with that and see how far we get. It's not foolproof, but it is what it is. I mean, otherwise we're just double blighting and triple blighting and all of the above. Okay. Oh wait, hold on. We have 1 more card that comes into play. Radiating Tremors. Okay, actually this might be really good. So Radiating Tremors is going to come into play because there's 2 energy on that. That will make our impending cards only 2 though. But it will get us to our second tier for an Earthquake. Let's see if this is going to work. Okay, so if we only have a defend 2, so we pop a defend 3 into this 4, pop a defend 2 into there, And then we also have a defend 2 here, which wasn't enough anyway. Yeah, I think I might just risk it. Or I could just, instead of playing that, put it into impending. I think I'd rather trigger the second tier of the earthquake, though. Yeah, I think I would. Because we've put these 3 cards in play. We've sent 1 into impending. 2 have come out of impending. Or maybe we just put both defense. We just say forget this land and put both defense in this one land, just to foolproof that. And then this land just, it's gonna happen what it happens. Tough decisions. Yeah, just in case the fear card doesn't give us anything super useful. I'm just gonna commit both defense to this land. No. No. Yeah, I'm just gonna do it. We're just gonna send it. Okay, so that's just gonna be what it is. So let's go ahead and move to fast phase. We'll generate 2 fear, and we'll put that defend 3 over there. We'll generate 1 fear on resounding sows dismay, and add 1 of these tokens to a place where I have presence. So we'll add 1 here, and we'll go ahead and generate 1 fear, and that's where we're skipping the actions. Then we'll add these 2 using our land creeks with tension. Where would they be building? They will be building in mountains and wetlands. So let's go ahead and just put 1 in this wetland here, and then put 1 in this mountain. No, let's put 1 more in the sand. Okay. All right, that's good with that. And then moving to their phase, because everything else is slow. Okay. So fear, literally 1 fear short from getting another fear card. It's okay. Let's do what we do. Okay, resolving at terror level 2. Angry mobs in each land with 2 or more explorers destroy 1 town or explorer per 2 explorers. Okay, so I could destroy a town here. That's good. This one doesn't have 2 more explorers, which is kind of not super good. I guess I could destroy a town here. That's good. Destroy a town here. Destroy an explorer. Destroy an explorer here. Okay, we're looking pretty good. So that's going to generate 3 fear, which is actually really good because we'll get 1 and then 2, 3. Give us another fear card to resolve immediately. Aha. Defend 2 in all lands with presence, and then each spirit gains 1 energy per sacred site they have in lands with invaders. Great. So I gain 1 energy, and now I have defend 2 in all lands with presence, which is going to pop a defend 2 here. Still not enough. I should have put the other defend 2 here and we would have been fine, but that is what it is. Okay, and there's going to be 3. It's going to blight, so that's going to do what it does. Oh, and I needed to resolve the blighted island effect to destroy 1 of my presence, so we'll just destroy my presence here in the mountains. Okay. Moving to the ravaging. They're going to be ravaging in all mining lands. So they'll be ravaging here. I skipped the ravage, and they'll be ravaging here. They will be blighting, destroying my presence. Actually, maybe I'll just have that be my destroyed presence because they're gonna blight it anyway. But I didn't know that at the time, so I'll just have that destroyed. And then we'll pop in a blight and then cascade it over to this land. Okay. And then moving to building in mountains and building in wetlands. They're going to go ahead and build in this mountain here, this wetland here, and this wetland here. Oh, great. Okay. And then I think that's that. Moving to exploring. Their first, a double explore, which is going to be, oh, they do have their after build effect. That's correct. To replace a explore with the town. I think we're going to just do that in this jungle. And this strife should have been removed. Okay. Alrighty. There's 6 in there. We haven't met the loss condition. We're doing alright. They'll be exploring into mountains and wetlands. So, wetland here, mountain there, mountain and wetland. Well, they really do like the mountains and wetlands. And moving that forward, they now will be ravaging in quite a few places and building in quite a few places. And they also have their, no, they don't have an escalation effect because it's not a tier 2. Okay, so that's great. Moving to slow phase. Alright, this is where things are gonna get interesting, because I have a lot of things that we can do, which is really neat. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and use our earthquake first. First, we will do 2 damage per thing in one land only. So let's just choose, it has to be aligned with our presence. So let's go ahead and just choose, yeah, let's just choose this one here, and do the 2 damage and destroy that and generate 1 fear. Okay, and the second tier, I'll generate 1 fear off of that, getting us another fear card. And then in any number of lands with those earthquake tokens, I can do 2 damage per token, 2 buildings only, and then remove 1. So I'm going to choose this one here, 2 damage thing per building, remove a token, 2 damage to buildings, remove a token, 2 damage to each one, so that's 8, and remove a token from there. And then we'll do 2 damage here, and kill this building, and remove a token, 2 damage here, and remove a token here. And I believe that is a Terror 2 victory. We don't even need to count up the fear. Yep, that would be a Terror 2 victory, or Terror 3 if you want to call it that, because we have 8 fear being generated, which would give us 2 fear cards, which would put us at Terror level 3. So yep, and there we go. That is Dances Up Earthquake, and you can see the massive power. I didn't even finish playing all of my power cards, but setting up that second tier Earthquake is where you really get things dicing up. The third tier Earthquake would allow you to deal 1 damage to each invader in lands where you removed a token, which would have killed the majority of those explorers there. And that is the game against Habsburg Mining Expedition, level 4, difficulty 7, Dances Up Earthquake. Thanks you all for joining us, and we'll see you in the next one.